My sister is choking.
She's choking. She's choking.
She's dead.
She's dead?
Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God! I didn't know my dad's gun was loaded, and and I shot her.
Hello, my name is Ray Romo. I'm a program director for Child Protective Special Investigations. Prior to that, I was a police officer for 27 years, serving as a patrolman, investigator, trainer, and administrator. During the last 10 years, I've assisted CPS investigators on hundreds of cases, helping them keep children and families safe.
And I'm Dimitri Mitchell with the Travis County Sheriff's Office. I've been in the law enforcement field for almost 25 years. In that time, I've had the honor to serve our citizens and children as a member of the Child Protection Team, the Family Violence Protection Team, and in my current role as a supervisor of the Major Crimes Unit.
Recently, a Keeping Children Safe handout was provided to help you discuss child safety and prevention tips when visiting with families and for use with parental child safety placements. We want you all to know that this handout also helps when having discussions about firearm safety, as well as safety to children in general, as it touches upon topics that you may not even think of as everyday dangers in homes and vehicles. The purpose of this training is to go a little deeper and provide you with information so you feel comfortable in discussing firearm safety with your families. We understand that not everyone may feel comfortable discussing this with families. However, it's important to do so because of the inquisitive nature of kids and the potential for harm if a firearm is not safely secured. We became social workers in an effort to help others. We chose this profession because we knew that serving others was a cause worthy enough to devote our careers to. However, social workers must be aware that at times they may be placed in harm's way in order to serve and assist their clients.
According to the Kids and Guns by the Numbers report by Diane Sawyer, 31% of U.S. households had at least one child and one gun in the home. This percentage is important because it's a good reminder of why it is imperative to address firearm safety. This means it is highly likely a caseworker will visit a home with a firearm in it. While this training is focused on child safety in the home, we want to start by first talking about your safety. Social workers will often enter homes without a partner
Bridget
or law
with Child
enforcement.
Protective Services.
Being prepared, you can stay safe while helping children and families.
Hi, are you Mr. Stanley?
Safety is essential to your success. You can't help a family in crisis if you're concerned for your own well-being. Always be aware, always be prepared, and always keep your safety in mind. Safety begins before you enter the home. In cases where a firearm is mentioned in the report as a safety concern, it is imperative that you take law enforcement with you for your protection as well as the families. If you go alone and see a firearm, never reach for it. If you feel you are in danger, leave immediately. Call law enforcement for assistance before you go back to the home, and make sure you let your supervisor know immediately of your concerns.
Now that we've talked about your safety, let's discuss how we can help families keep children safe from firearms too. Many Texans are familiar with firearms, from hunting, collecting historic firearms, or even being a concealed handgun license holder. We know this can be a bit uncomfortable for you at first if you're unsure how to bring it up. A good way to think about it is to remember it as a part of your routine interactions with families. Just as we discuss water safety and safe sleep, firearm safety is another way for families to recognize potential dangers to children. During your safety assessment, it is important to ask families and caregivers if they own or have access to guns. We'll give you some concrete examples in just a bit on how to have these conversations. The handout discusses important topics to address with families, such as safe sleep, car safety, water safety, poison prevention, TV and furniture tip-overs, and help with caring for your child. When sharing this information with families, you can incorporate your discussion on firearms. We want to encourage you to use the Keeping Children Safe handout when talking to your families about firearm safety.
For those families who choose to keep a firearm in the home, CPS caseworkers should be providing them with this information. Texas law may impose a criminal penalty against any adult if a child actually gains access to a firearm. Because of this, families should keep the firearm locked, store the ammunition locked and away from the firearm, use a gun locking device that renders the firearm inoperable when not in use, A gun lock should be used as an additional safety precaution and not as a substitute for secure storage. Don't assume just because you hide the firearm, the child may not find where it is. Hiding a firearm in a closet, drawer, or similar location is not safe firearm storage. Safe firearm storage should employ multiple barriers to prevent unauthorized access. Locks can be purchased for older firearms. Project Child Safe also provides free cable locks for firearms, which are available by contacting your local law enforcement agency.
I wanted to talk to you regarding
Also during the
firearms
discussion,
that you may have in your household.
even if the family does not keep a firearm in their home, it is important to address the concern because the children may visit a friend, neighbor, or family member who does keep a firearm in their home. You should also talk to families about teaching their children what to do if they come across a firearm using the following tips. Stop and don't touch. Leave the area. Tell an adult. Now let's watch 2 mock scenarios for examples of how to react in different situations.
Can I help you?
My name's Ashley. I'm with Child Protective Services. I'm here regarding an open investigation. Do you mind if I come in for a moment?
Really understand what's going on, but yes, please. come
Thank
in.
you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me about the report today. As I mentioned earlier, I did see Ava at school and I talked to her teacher, and there don't appear to be any concerns for her safety or well-being right now.
Good, good. And I was certainly worried when you came to the door. I'm glad my daughter's okay, of course. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Actually, yes. I'd like to go over some information about child safety.
Okay.
We already discussed water safety, but I'd also like to discuss firearms. This handout right here has some information and some tips for what to do regarding firearms in your home. Do you, by chance, have any firearms in the home?
Yes, I do actually.
Okay, and what do you do to keep Ava safe around the house?
We have cable locks on them. We keep them unloaded at all times, and we keep them in a closet also. And Ava knows not to go in that closet.
Okay, great. So some of the options to keep Ava safe in the home around firearms is to keep the firearm unloaded, to keep the ammunition separate from the firearm, to use things like cable locks, trigger locks, and personalized locks,
Right.
and to use things like a safe, a lockbox, or a vault.
Okay. Okay.
Have you ever talked to Ava about what to do if she comes across a firearm?
Honestly, no, we never really have because we're so safe with our firearms. It's never really been a concern for us before. But you make a great point. Do you have any suggestions on how to go about that?
You can see in this scenario that everything is going well. The father has allowed you into the home and he's willing to discuss the report. Let's see what happens next.
I do actually. So there's 3 important things that she should remember and do if she does come across a firearm.
Okay.
First is to stop, do not touch the firearm, to leave the area, and to tell an adult immediately.
Oh, okay, those are really great tips. Because now that you mention it, we go to my brother's house quite a bit, and I know he has firearms, and I've just never thought about asking him, where he keeps them, and I certainly never thought about what would happen to Ava if she ever got her hands on them before. As a parent, that's a scary thing to think about. So I'll definitely sit down with her tonight and talk with her about it. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Great, thanks.
As you can see, this was the ideal scenario. The caseworker was able to discuss firearm safety with a parent and even provide tips on how to teach their children what to do in case they come across a firearm. While no 2 cases are alike, you can utilize some of the techniques the caseworker used in this scenario. Let's look at the second scenario.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today about the report. Like I said earlier, I did see Ava at school this morning and I spoke to her teacher, and there don't appear to be any concerns for her safety or well-being right now.
Well, I could have told you that before you went to the school. I mean, I know I'm a good parent, but is there anything else we need to talk about?
Actually, I would like to go over some child safety tips in your home. We already discussed water safety earlier, but I would like to discuss firearm safety. Do you by chance have any firearms in your home?
I don't really feel comfortable with you asking me that question. I don't see how that's any of your business.
One of the things I like to do as part of my job is to cover all sorts of safety risks with parents. The CPS is committed to ensuring child safety, and firearms play a really big role in safety risks. If a child gets a hold of a firearm and doesn't know what to do, it can cause a tragic accident.
Well, I'm an American citizen. I know it's every right that I have to own a gun. I don't see what this has to do with my CPS case at all.
As you can see in this scenario, the father is a bit disgruntled discussing his firearms. In these situations, it's important to note firearm safety is important for all families. We are not singling anyone out. Let's see how this plays out.
I completely understand, and it is your right to own a gun. My job is to ensure child safety, and so I want to discuss with you how to keep Ava safe around firearms in your home and around firearms in the homes of others.
That's a fair point, and I understand that. I just know that many people out there have biases against gun owners.
Well, there's a couple ways that you can keep firearms safe in your home. You can keep them unloaded. You can keep the ammunition separate from the firearm. You can use things like cable locks, trigger locks, personalized locks, and so forth. Or you can also use a lockbox or a safe vault or something of that sort. Do any of these options sound like something you might be interested in?
We keep all of our firearms unloaded and stowed away out of reach of Ava. I never thought about using a lock, though.
There's actually a couple resources you can use to get a cable lock or a trigger lock. You can reach out to your local police department or sheriff's office, and you can also visit a website called projectchildsafe.org. They can provide you with a free safety kit and a free lock.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. That's something I'll definitely look into.
And have you ever talked to Ava about what to do if she comes across the firearm?
Absolutely. I've talked to her about it before. She knows that they're dangerous and to stay away from them at all times.
Okay, well, there's 3 important steps that she needs to know about if she does come across one. The first one is stop, don't touch the firearm, to leave the area, and to tell an adult immediately.
Those are great tips. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure, and just to keep in mind that, once again, it's not only about firearm safety in your home, but it's also something you need to be aware of in any homes that she's visiting or spending considerable time in.
That's a good point. That never crossed my mind.
The father was initially reluctant to discussing firearms in his home. Simply by explaining the reason for the discussion, the father understood why it was such an important topic. Whatever your feelings are about firearms, maintain professional boundaries and don't discuss your personal opinions. It's important not to be judgmental about whether a family chooses to have firearms in their home or not. Also, it is not important for you to see the firearms, see where they're stored, or record serial numbers.
Hey, this is Ashley.
Remember that if a family is becoming agitated and upset for any reason, or if a firearm in the home makes you feel unsafe, you have permission to leave the home and address safety at a later date. Also, the worker was able to refer the father to great resources available throughout the state of Texas.
We also would like to address a topic you may be familiar with. With the passage of recent legislative updates, what once was referred to as a concealed handgun license is now a license to carry, or LTC. A license holder is no longer required to conceal their firearm and may display it openly in public. State law mandates certain requirements in order to obtain a license to carry a firearm. This includes attending and passing a training course. This course is 8 hours long and led by an instructor. At the conclusion of the course, students must pass a written exam and a shooting course. Once the training is completed, the individual can apply for a license by submitting their application to the Department of Public Safety, the same department that issues driver's licenses. The law states when openly carrying a firearm, it must be secure in either a belt or shoulder holster. As you go about your day-to-day activities, if you see someone openly carrying a firearm, do not ask if they have a license to carry.
If you have questions, talk with your supervisors. And don't forget that your special investigators are there to support you in your work with families. Your regional special investigators can assist in cases where firearms may be present. And remember, law enforcement is there for you as well. Our number one job is to help families keep children safe. The tips you learned today will help you in your casework and in your discussions with families.
The conversations you have with parents and caregivers about everyday safety, ranging from firearm safety, safe sleep environment, and water safety, are equally important as well.
The work that you do impacts the lives of families each and every day. Thank you for your hard work and for being part of the DFPS family.
And above all else, keep yourself safe and help your families keep their children safe as well.